Gang, there are 3 different ways to shoot street photography, and Matt Stewart taught me this on one of his workshops, so all credit goes to him. So the first way, hunting. The second way is fishing. And the last way is when you go, oh. And it's important to clarify that these are more like modes or mindsets or just general like ways of shooting. There's no hard, fast categorization. It's all a big spectrum that we flow between, all of that stuff. And even on a day-to-day basis, we're switching between stuff. Because I know some days I want to be in the chaos, other days I want to be distant. And once in a blue moon, something insane is going to happen that's going to completely rock our world, and we are going to be spending a while trying to figure out what just happened. And so the goal of this video is to understand these 3 different styles, their influences, how we can learn from different things, and how we should be thinking when we are in these different modes. And ultimately help us to become better photographers. Okay, so let's start with the obvious. And this is hunting. So imagine this, we've got a camera in hand. Didn't think I'd be doing a demonstration today, but here we are. You got your camera in hand, and you're constantly like looking at things, you're noticing things, you're reacting to things, you're not really thinking too much when you're taking the photo. You're thinking by being like, oh, that's interesting, that's interesting, that's interesting. But you're just snapping away, you're getting the photos, and you may get 1 or 2 shots on goal. And so think of it as trying to find moments. You're running about and you're trying to discover these specific moments that tell a story. You're not adding things, you're not making an image, although Joel Moritz probably argued that you are, but you're more, in my opinion, reacting to said environment. And often I think photos kind of, you're balancing the story versus composition. And in this case, when you're hunting, story is king. This is like proper traditional street photography where it's all about the story, the moment, the message, and way less about the composition. And so hunting is that real reactive style of street photography when we want to be in that chaos. And then we've got fishing, which is the complete opposite. And so this is where you find a scene where you think there might be potential. And as you're there, you're like, oh, I like this light. And oh, I like the color of this thing. And oh, I like this, I like this. And you start building a scene. Right? And this can honestly be anything. This can be from light, this can be from color, this can be from shapes. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out a scene. We're waiting, we're watching the scene, and then we are iterating. We're taking lots of shots on goal, trying to get the best image that we can. And so whenever in these situations, I always like to think, okay, what is it that I like in this scene? What would I want to happen in this scene that would then make it even better? So let's say we've got big yellow wall. Cool. If someone with a yellow jacket comes in, nice. And so we're trying to be methodical. We're trying to stack ideas. We're trying to really like play and build in our heads, in our minds. And this is so like compositionally driven because the story, sometimes it does happen in your scene. Sometimes you can build a scene based on a story, based on kind of what's going on. But often, you're kind of, the scene itself is what attracts you to what's going on, rather than a moment. The scene itself, there's something about it where you're like, there's potential here. And because we're being compositionally driven, we're waiting for that final piece just to dip into place. Personally, this is where I like to shoot. I'm very compositionally driven. Don't think I'm smart enough to be reactive quickly with stuff that happens in the street compared to friends like Mike and Matt Stewart. So I like to fish. Finally, there is, and this is where, out of nowhere, something crazy happens. We might be in the hunting mindset, we might be in the fishing mindset. Something happens and it just makes you go like, all right, I just need to like, I just need to capture it. Like, it's so pressurized that you can't just go, ah! And so it's so rare when these moments happen, when there's something that is so unexpected that it completely rattles you as a photographer. But the best thing about it is, even though these things are quite unlikely to happen, your hit rate is very high because it's something that is so like, wow. What I always find really funny is sometimes I will see something, I'll have my camera in my hand, walk around like this, and I'll go, that would have been a good photo. And like, I completely miss it because I'm just like, wow, that is so interesting to look at. I'll just become a normal fucking streetwalker. Don't think that's a mean person on the street, to clarify. And you're just staring at whatever's going on and you're like, wow, that's crazy. What do you think I've got this for? So the magic is being able to switch gears and just get into taking photos and to see these things and just be able to react and get it. And that is what the elite, the top dogs are able to do so well. In some cases, it may be a moment where you're just like, right, I need to follow this geezer for as long as it takes because there is a photo here. I just need to kind of fish him as he's moving, so you're hunting and fishing at the same time. So if you are into this kind of stuff and you like the breakdown of the mindset behind photography, then I share these ideas every week in my newsletter, and I think that you would absolutely love it. It's short, it's practical, can be kind of fun, and it's made for people who want to get better at photography. And so if that's you, there's a link down below. So now that we've got these 3 different categories, who gives a fuck? Why do we need to know, right? Well, understanding when to apply these situations will help us to then know which type of mindset, techniques, and ideas that we can tap into to ultimately help us produce the best kind of images. And so let's say you want to be in the thick of it, right? And you love shooting these like story-focused, moment-driven images. Cool. Well, go to Oxford Street around rush hour. You're going to have so much fun, so there's going to be so much going on, and you're going to have the best photo opportunities. However, if you like to fish and you like space and you like to be able to develop a scene, you're going to hate that. And so it's then better to try and go somewhere perhaps at sunrise. We're able to get like individual subjects, and knowing what you're attracted to then helps us plan when we go out and take photos. And that is ultimately what I think is not quite appreciated enough within the photography community. And not only that, I think that depending on who we like as photographers, that can then also influence the style of images that we like. To me, I find a lot of street photography just isn't pretty enough. It just doesn't tickle me in that way. And so I then like the super compositionally driven stuff, and so that's what I go and shoot. And I'm not looking at photographers like, I don't know, Bruce Gilden. I'm kind of like, yeah, cool, but like he doesn't really do anything for me. So why would I be trying to like shoot the way that he shoots, if that makes sense? And it's also important to understand that sometimes you can be in situations where you're just up against it. Like I said earlier, I like competition. That's my thing. I like fishing. I like taking my time. Mike, he loves sprinting around. And whenever I'm out shooting with him, he'll see something and I'll go, I haven't noticed that at all. And he's already taken the photo. He's smashed it. And we can go out on a whole day shooting and I love it. I find it a lot of fun. But I'm not getting the best photos. But then if I go out by myself and then I'm just fishing, whatever scene I like, that's when I'm getting the real bangers. So it's important to know when to say, bye-bye, mate, and to go off and to shoot what I want to shoot. Because depending on what your style is, sometimes socially we can be pulled in the wrong direction, which then feels hard as creative. So if you are getting into your street photography and you want to know all of the different techniques that professionals use, that I use, that you can be using, then check out Street Tools, which is a book that I wrote that I wish I had earlier in my career. It's honestly every single technique that I like to use as a photographer. And I think that you will love it. So if you're interested, check it out down below. So leave a comment down below if you found this interesting, if there was anything that was new, anything that was super helpful. That way I know that I'm doing a good job supporting the photography community and helping share what I know to all of you guys. If you haven't already, subscribe, send this video to someone that you think needs to think about photography a bit more, and yeah, until next time, see y'all in the streets.